Hey friends, the Solstice event is back for about a month, so in that time, you can get your hands on some high stat roll armor where you can guarantee a 10 and a 20 stat of any. So for a new account, this is a very valuable use of your time. Otherwise, as for weapons, you get the Something New Hand Cannon and the Compass Rose Shotgun, which I do not own yet. Today's video topic is on the Something New Hand Cannon. A lot of people seem to be sleeping on this because it has a mediocre perk pool when it comes to PvP. But it does have one unique role that, in my opinion, pairs the absolute best with a fusion rifle out of anything in the game. And judging by the amount of fusion rifles I see out in the wild, it would make sense to put this on your radar. So, let's look at it on D2 Gunsmith. First thing off the bat that you notice, magazine of 8. It's a very low magazine. Next thing, its airborne effectiveness stat is really high. I don't know if you've compared this to other hand cannons yet or know what the average is, but a lot of hand cannons range from the 10 to 15 range. The only ones that are the exception is the Iron Banner Precision, Palindrome, Igneous Hammer, and I think that is it as far as the new ones. I think the old Iron Banner hand cannon also has a pretty high stat here. But the point is, the only thing that rivals this airborne effectiveness stat is Igneous Hammer in the energy slot. This is in the kinetic slot. It's a stasis hand cannon. By the way, I made the mistake of accidentally having kinetic siphon on for multiple games to try to make orbs of light. Yeah, that doesn't work. You have to have stasis siphon on. And so it makes sense on this build since I run Revenant anyway on it. But I just thought I'd mention that. Since it's a stasis element, it also gets headstone, but let's stay on the subject of the stat package. Aim assist of 60, that's okay. Reload speed of 25, noticeably bad. Stability and handling very low, but this is a 120, which is why you see this type of stat package. So what I'm going to suggest is you go extended mag, not ricochet rounds if you're playing PvP. And my reasoning is the airborne effectiveness stat is so high at base that you might as well try to get it to a number where it feels good. And in the gameplay, I will be able to hit yellow numbers across the map jumping in the air. The recent airborne effectiveness changes are in effect and I notice it. So I think it's worth going extended mag to solve both the magazine, I believe this gets bumped to 10, and to make airborne effectiveness builds more feasible. So now that I mentioned that, let's look at the left-hand column of perks. Pretty much nothing you are going to take advantage of in PvP. Tunnel vision is too slow, so unless you have marksman's dodge, it's not happening. Triple tap is good, but a lot of people ditch on the first shot of the engagement, so you're probably not going to proc this. Stat brawl requires to shoot 3 people, not really practical in PvP. Feeding frenzy, while this is good, you're not necessarily reloading after every single engagement, and the reason for that is because of the origin trait. Once per reload, assist or assisted final blows partially refill the magazine from reserves, potentially overflowing the magazine. So a lot of times what happens is I put 1, 2, 3 shots in, then my teammate cleans them up, and I'm suddenly sitting at a 15 round magazine. If this was like a Trials of Osiris setting, you can easily finish the round within 20 bullets. So the likelihood of you needing to reload is pretty low unless you're playing 3 Barricade Titans. So, lastly, this brings us to Wellspring, which is pretty useful, right? Gives you more abilities. And then Ensemble, which in my opinion is the move because ideally you want to be near teammates anyway, and that's 30 handling and 40 reload speed. That 30 handling is borderline necessary for this to feel usable without something like Dragon Shadow, a Gunslinger handling bonus, or Ophidian Aspect. That type of thing. So now let's look at the right column. We have a lot of useful perks, unique perks for PvP. First of which is Headstone. For a stasis-centric build, this makes sense because this can tie into getting some more grenade energy back. So if you play an Ophidian Shadebinder, this is a phenomenal role to just keep in your vault and remember because Ophidians does boost AE. It's going to give it an extra plus 10. So now we add the Icarus grip on, goes 48 base, now 58 with Ophidians. That's kind of consistent. So just keep that in mind. You can farm your stasis turret, your rift, and your melee with this setup. Let's move back to Ensemble. The perk that really stands out to me is Harmony. Not multi-kill clip, because after 1 kill you cannot 2-tap. With Harmony, an energy weapon kill gives you a 20% damage bonus to this hand cannon, which means it's hitting 96 to the head, which means it can 2-tap, I believe, up to 6 or 7 resilience. And a lot of people don't run that stat. I know most Titans these days do, but there is a dark secret about this perk and stacking with Radiant. Let's go look in here. It is the fusion rifle pairing of all fusion rifle pairings. I don't own these yet, so I couldn't provide the gameplay, nor am I going to borrow an account. I'm just going to wait for it to be in the Lost Sector rotation. Wow, I really like the design of these pants. Haven't looked at them yet. Air dodge reloads all your weapons and improves the airborne effectiveness of fusion rifles and linear fusion rifles. Final blows with these weapons make you radiant. Provides moderate benefit to the airborne effectiveness out of fusions and linear fusions. So it's the fact that a fusion rifle blow makes you radiant. That's an extra 10% damage bonus that does stack with Harmony. So again, seeing the amount of fusion rifles I see out in the wild, if you pair this with Rain of Fire and then also proc Harmony, which you're going to do after a fusion shot, you'll be hitting like 100 and, I don't know, 102, 105, something like that to the head, which is going to guarantee 2-tap anybody and push out the range even more. A lot of people main their fusion rifle and don't even think of switching to their primary. So in my opinion, this is maybe the most ideal pairing in the entire game for a fusion rifle user. As far as what fusion rifles to recommend, I think it's personal preference because we have a lot of great ones, but I would stay away from Telesto because a lot of times you shoot the delayed detonation, then you switch to your hand cannon, then someone dies to Telesto, and you can't just finesse it and swap back to the weapon to reactivate Harmony. So yeah. Just use one of the flavor of the week ones. The main ingredient, I like Jotun a lot, just because it's kind of a sniper rifle fusion. Yeah, just those. I also have a Reed's Regret with Harmony, so I have a double Harmony setup. It feels really good. Overall, this is the first Kinetic 120 to offer a high in-air stat, so I get to play to my skill ceiling. I get to take in-air fights again with a level of consistency that just wasn't there before. So overall, don't sleep on this because as you learn a more aerial playstyle, as you crutch more on a fusion rifle, this hand cannon has some hidden potential that I think most players can tap into given time. I put 400 kills on this already. A lot of it was in terrible circumstances in Rumble, and it was to the point where I switched to a Devil's Ruin sidearm. I initially tried double primary with an SMG, but I came to the realization that because Lorelei Titans can tank all my damage and because everyone throws a healing grenade, I couldn't out DPS them. So here's what I learned. You do this like an inverse Sturm and Drain combo. I'm going to go ahead and pull the Devil's Ruin as I speak. So Devil's Ruin is an exotic sidearm that you could wait till the last bullet if you want to, but holding down the trigger shoots a laser. So what I like to do against the healing meta is empty the whole magazine until I'm down to the last couple bullets, then fire the laser. It gives me enough ammunition to deal with healing behind a barricade, multiple targets, that type of thing. And since it's a primary weapon with extra lethality, it gives me infinite amount of opportunities to proc Harmony, whereas with the fusion rifle, after I shoot my 2 shots, it's over. So for Rumble, you can definitely use like Duality Shotgun and keep reprocking Harmony, then trading out with your opponent, getting extra ammo on spawn. But I found in 6s, the ammo just didn't drop frequently enough. I would have to use my Fusion or Shotgun Shot or Sniper Shot to break a barricade or just weaken somebody because only their legs showing or something like that. And bottom line is, I needed a primary to get the job done. I tried pseudo primaries like Ariana's Vow. I tried long range weapons like a bow, but ultimately, these are used as primers and the primary as a cleanup, so I ultimately wasn't proccing Harmony throughout the whole match. So, recommendations again, Fusion Rifle number 1. If you have to primary, Devil's Ruin. I also found a lot of success with Fighting Lion, though it had the same problem as bows and Ariana, where I'd use the Fighting Lion as a primer, and then wouldn't have the reload in time to actually get the final blow with Fighting Lion. Sure, it would happen sometimes, but it fails in comparison to the success of a Fusion Rifle or Devil's Ruin. I hope that you find some valuable advice in this video, and give it a try. Let me know how it goes in the comments section. Enjoy the gameplay.
lost the lead. Down. Hunters like you blaze the path for the rest of us. Strength in numbers, Guardian. There! Fight on and claim victory! Only 5 minutes left. might, Guardian. Well fought.